Alright, and we're back, new episode, whatever. And today we're going to talk about another NBC show, Community.
Give me some warmth, time and a dream. Give me the hope to run out of steam. Somebody say we could be here. We could be rolled up, tied up, dead in a year.
Which I just finished watching. I've been wanting to watch this probably, I think I technically wanted to start watching this when it premiered because I was a big fan of The Soup, which was Joel McHale's hosting at the time. So I'm like, oh, it's a show that he's on. And then I never watched it. And then finally, it popped up on Netflix. I thought it's been on Netflix, but apparently it's only been on for like a month or two. Alright, like I know a bunch of NBC sitcoms are going to leave pretty soon because of Peacock or whatever. So let me get those out of the way. And I watched Parks and Rec first because I flipped a coin. And then I watched Community. And oh my god, the show is amazing and I love it. So basically it's about, Joel McHale plays Jeff Winger, who was a lawyer who got debarred. That's a term. Debarred? Whatever. And he has to basically go back to a 4-year community college, which doesn't make sense because community colleges are 2 years and you get associates and not a bachelor's. Also, you probably need more than a bachelor's to be a lawyer. I don't know. Maybe you just need a bachelor's and take the bar. Whatever. Somebody can tell me. But, or I'll look it up. And he basically formed this study group for his Spanish class in order to he basically wants to sleep with this girl, Britta Perry, played by Gillian Jacobs. She ends up inviting a bunch of other people, in a way, I think it's I haven't watched the pilot in a bit just because that kind of thing, but she invites other people. So there is Shirley, who's Yvette Nicole Brown, who was like a single mom who's going through divorce with her husband. She's got 2 kids, and she's like very devout Christian and just kind of wants to, get her life back together. There's Annie Edison, who's a high school, I think she graduated high school, but then she also went to rehab for an Adderall addiction, like you do, because she's like a straight-laced, like A+ student, blah, blah, blah. There's Abed Nadir, who is, I think he's supposed to be like his late 20s, probably on the spectrum, and he loves pop culture references and tries to think of his life as a TV show. There is Troy, who's a former football player, also went to the same school that Annie did, and he lost his football scholarship because he got an injury. He's there. Who else? I think it's just Pierce, who's Chevy Chase, and he's just an old guy who's, their study group. And then they eventually just, because obviously it was formed just to, Jeff just formed it just to get with this one girl, but then he kind of, everybody becomes friends, and they, study together. There's other characters. There's Senor Chang, who's Ken Jeong, and he basically is a Spanish teacher, and then there's like a bunch of other stuff that goes on throughout the series that makes him no longer a Spanish teacher, and then like a dictator at one point. It was weird, but it was great. There's the dean. Clearly his sexual orientation is Jeff Winger, and he wears a lot of funny costumes, and he loves the study group, and like they're basically the main characters, and but he sees them as like the star group of the school, I guess, which is Greendale in Colorado. Yeah. That's kind of, and he basically, it wanted to be like this, like, kind of, I don't know if it's like a full parody of sitcoms, but it kind of has like a lot of meta humor, especially with Abed and Troy for a bit, because they become best friends, and, the ultimate best friends. Just kind of like making fun of like sitcom, like trope series. So there wasn't like a laugh track, except for the one episode in the 4th season, but they do kind of make fun of like bottle episodes and like clip shows, like that kind of thing. And I'd say the 1st season is like the most like sitcom-y, but I understand that because you're trying to set this up so that people will watch it. And also I think because it was so weird with like NBC, it kind of like, let's just say like we are normal until we get to a point that we can start going bizarre, which happened with the first Paintball episode, which is basically like a trope on like action movies, and it was insane. And you're kind of like, oh, you kind of understand, okay, I get what the show is. It's like we're gonna parody a bunch of stuff, and it's gonna be great. And it's awesome, and I love it. But basically for me, like, I started loving it when it came to season 2, because there's a zombie apocalypse episode where they play ABBA the entire time. How can this not be for me? The Christmas episode is really good. They do a documentary style episode that was hilarious. Like, there were so many times during this show where I was just like laughing out loud, and it's like, ugh, like, why? I was like, I'm happy that people are like finding it now, including me, but like you wish the show was more popular when it was on, just because it's so good. Like, it probably became one of my favorite shows. Season 3, there was like a video game episode. They had a pillow fight battle with like in a Ken Burns style documentary. There's that timeline episode, which like people say is like the best episode. I think it might be, but it's not one of the ones I go back to constantly, although I do go back to it constantly. So episode might actually be one of the best. Troy and Abed move in together. They're like the best of friends, where like they're basically a couple, even though like they're obviously not attracted to each other in that way. But yeah, like season 2 and 3, I say are like magical. They're just so good. It's insane how good they are. We do have to get to season 4. So the creator of the show is Dan Harmon, who ended up getting fired before season 4. And then he came back before season 5. I don't know the full story. I don't really feel like getting into it right now because it might be sad. But I'll say this, like on an honest level, for season 4, it's not bad. Like I think for Community standards, it's definitely the worst season. But like as a show, like a season of a show, it's fine. Like you can get through. It's certain episodes you can get through it. There is some like fun stuff. I didn't mind, like, the puppet episode was fine. I liked the finale, actually, quite a bit, with, like, the Darkest Timeline getting in there, because that's the whole thing. But then season 5, like, it definitely gets a lot better. There was, like, a parody on, like, David Fincher movies that was fun. Hot Lava episode was fun. And then season 6, which was, like, the weird thing that was on, because, after season 5, the show was canceled, and Dan Harmon was really big on 6 seasons and a movie, so they ended up going to Yahoo Streaming, which doesn't exist anymore, to do season 6. I don't know if there was like a budget cut, but you can tell like it looks different, and they brought in new characters starting with season 5 because Pierce had left and then Troy left. So they brought in John Hinckley, who I don't remember whose characters. I know like John Oliver came in for a bit. He was like recurring throughout the show, and it was really funny. Buzz Hinckley, which was Jonathan Banks, was really. He was fun. I did like him a bit. I liked all of, like, they had Keith David come in for a bit. And then Frankie Dart came in for a bit. Again, like, I like them. They fit pretty well with the show. And then, and then Nicole Brown left during season 6, I think for, like, a family reason. Yeah, the show's just really good, and, like, I think it kind of really delves into, like, how all of these characters basically kind of mess up in like some way, and them just like trying to find ways to be happy, and like you kind of do that through like parodies of like stuff, and that's how they kind of open up to people, like especially with like Abed. There was an episode like in the Dreamatorium, which is like this little room that him and Troy have when they move in together, and because he doesn't like change, it was kind of this thing. I remember Annie, I forget the line, but Annie kind of said something like, we like go through scenarios in our head over and over. Oh god, I don't remember what she said. I had to rewatch that because I forgot the line. But it's basically like how we all create like this like fantasies in our head about like stuff that's gonna happen or stuff we want to happen. It's like all of our anxieties because in the end we're just afraid we're gonna be alone. And I think I kind of like I related a lot to Abed, and I do that a lot in my head too. But it's kind of like a thing of like everybody feels that way, and you just need to like find your group who's gonna love you no matter what, and that kind of thing. There's like a bunch of stuff like that so there was that was like a weird like pretend thing. They parody also like Law and Order, and that, oh my god, the Law and Order episode's so good. And I kind of also like how they clearly had like setups and stuff, but then once they kind of realized like different aspects of it, they went along with it. Like there was a point where obviously you think that Jeff and Britt are gonna get together, and they don't really. I mean, they kind of like hook up a bit in season 2, and then they don't really have much other stuff going on. Where like nobody in the group really gets together with anybody, except for like the one exceptions might be Jeff and Annie, which I found kind of weird. Like I know that Allison Brie was like in her 20s, but they made her 18, and like at the beginning, the end of season 1 ends with them kissing. So like, and I was fine with it. I personally was fine with it, but I felt weird that like she was 18. I'm like, can you make her like 20? But there's like that kind of tension with them, which I kind of liked how like they were developing it. But then overall, like, unless you count like, I guess Troy and Britta did date, which I think kind of worked. But I kind of like how like they were attracted to each other, and then they kind of like they were put together, but overall like it didn't fully work, which I found interesting. And then they admit that it doesn't work and they break up. And then Troy and Abed were the bestest of friends. And I did not know I was gonna love this show as much as I did. I think it might be like up there, like one of my favorite shows. Like I'm going back to it, like still, and like rewatching episodes, mainly from seasons 2 and 3. I haven't really watched much from season 4, some stuff from season 5, and then not a ton from season 6. But I want to go back and like rewatch like everything. It's just so good. If you're like, I think I saw something like if you want to compare this to like The Big Bang Theory, which was like also like a type of nerdy show, but like that show made fun of nerds, and this show is like for nerds. It's like about us and like showing how awesome we are. And, like Dungeons and Dragons episodes were good. Oh my god. But yeah, the show's just amazing, and like I think like most of them have like character growth. Like you see with Jeff, he's like pompous ass from the beginning, and then at the end, like, he still kind of is, and, like, trying to keep that persona, but, like, he has changed and evolved. Like, he loves people, and he finds he might be, like, stuck at Greendale, which, like, he didn't want. Like, everybody seems to grow, and then everybody hates Britta because, you know, she's not good at, she's technically good at stuff, just nobody knows. It's just, I think she's good at stuff that she doesn't want to be good at, like, because she doesn't want to be, like, that typical, like woman who just, like, is good at, like, you know, interior design and that kind of thing, when she's actually really good at wedding planning, which is I like that a bit. Hopefully they make a movie, because I know the plan was 6 seasons and a movie. They have their 6 seasons. Joel McHale and Ken Jeong currently have a podcast called The Darkest Timeline, where they have, like, people from the community. Everybody still is friends with each other. They're on Netflix now. The Russo brothers, who obviously did, like, the 2 highest grossing movies of all time, would love to come back to direct. Actually, I know at least, like, I think Joe would, because, like, he was on the podcast as well. But, like, everybody's still friends. Like, can Netflix, can you, like, give them a movie? And, like, yeah, like, do that. Oh my god, like, or, like, I feel like you need a couple movies. Like, do it how, like, Sherlock does it, where it's, like, 3 episodes, but, like, each one's, like, an hour and a half long. Like, that might work. It's just, like, you can do a bunch of stuff, but, like, come on, I think we, especially now, because, like, you keep, like, apparently, like, I didn't know that it just came on Netflix, but everybody's, like, loving it now. So, like, can we get a movie? Although, because I was thinking, like, you could make a movie now and actually make it in, like, not now, but, like, I'd say in 3 years, because 3 years, it'll be 10 years since they graduated. It's, like, a 10-year reunion. I don't know. But overall, if you're a nerd, go watch it. You'll love it. It's so good. And, I might say 9.5 out of 10. I don't know if I'm doing ratings, whatever. Thank you guys for watching. You can like, comment, and subscribe down below. And, yeah, and check out my podcast, Witty Clothes, where we will hopefully be doing community soonish. We got a couple shows on the back that we want to do, but hopefully that'll be soon, because I really want to show Kaylin, because she'll love it. And, yeah. Although, granted, like, I'm probably going to show her this video, and she's going to get spoiled with some stuff, so I might just have to warn her a bit. But it'll be fine. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Bye.